Hello everybody and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday morning, November the 16th, and time once again for the mailbag. Or as I should say today, the mailbags. Plural, because we've got two this morning. Now, depending on which one of these you decided to watch first, I've still got to do the same spiel. At the beginning, the reason I decided to do two episodes today, one devoted to all of the e-arcs that came in this week, and another one devoted to the physical arcs and review copies, which is the one you're watching right now, is because over the past couple of weeks, so many books have suddenly just come in both formats, that first I debated, well, do I just go ahead and do some like mega 40, 50-minute episode of the mailbag, or do I try to make this a little bit more digestible? Because on the one hand, the really long mailbags are the most popular episodes, right? But on the other hand, I don't know exactly how many of like the 35, 40-minute mail books that I've done in the past, even though the views on them are huge. I'm not entirely sure how many of the people who start watching those actually finish them. And there's a whole lot of exciting stuff here, and I would at least like to give you guys an opportunity to check these mailbags out in a reasonably digestible form, right? And I don't know, I was thinking 45, 50 minutes just might be a bit much. So you're getting two mailbags instead, and this is the one for the physical copies. The other one, link, is for all of the e-arcs that have come in since the previous episode. 20 books in all, and some pretty exciting ones, so definitely don't miss that if you're just tuning in or if you have chosen to watch this episode first. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into these, shall we? Because I can tell you there is some awesome stuff in the house today. And starting out with one that looks like, I can't really tell. Well, I'll just open it and find out. Okay, this is nice to have. We're starting out with one from Angry Robot. And this is The Rush's Edge. The author is Ginger Smith. And this, I think this one might be out already. It may have come out last week or something like that. But an SF novel. Let me just see about, I'm going to have to read the back. It goes like this. It says, Halvor Cullen was built to be a hero, but he's never felt like one. As a gene-spliced, tech-enhanced VAT super soldier, Hal was made to fight hard and burn out young, then spend the short remainder of his life forever chasing an elusive adrenaline rush. Thankfully, his best friend and former commander is determined to prevent that from happening by keeping Hal busy salvaging crashed spaceships along the spiral's edge. But when a new member joins their crew, and a mysterious sphere they bring aboard the ship unleashes an alien presence, Hal's desires and malfunctions threaten to bring them all to the point of destruction. Okay, so looks like really fun space opera from Ginger Smith, The Rush's Edge, available from Angry Robot. Okay, now this next one looks really, really cool. This is a book called Shadows of the Short Days. It's in from Titan Books. And the author is Alexander Dan Vilhelmsson. And he is an Icelandic author, and this is an Icelandic science fiction story. Actually, I recognize that church on the, well, you probably can't see it. The cover art's probably very tiny. But this looks good, like something new and different, right? Unique. It says, Welcome to Reykjavik, fueled by industrialized magic, ruled by a despotic crown demanding revolution. Rebels and revolutionaries disappear into the infamous prison, the Nine, never to be heard from again. Masked police roam the streets, dark magic lurks in the shadows, and the implacable flying fortress casts its baleful eye over all below. Simundur, addict and sorcerer, has been cast out from university and forbidden to study magic. Dissident artist Garun is desperate for a just society and will do anything to achieve it. Both seek revolution in their own ways, both seek power. Together, they will change Reykjavik forever. Cool, right? So, Shadows of the Short Days, available from Titan Books. Okay, everybody, I think this one will definitely be the star book of this week's episode. Massive, heavy tome. And from Tor, I think it can only be one thing. Here it is, everybody. All 1,230 pages of Rhythm of War. Wow. Yeah. It's it's interesting. About a month ago, Tor was starting to send out the emails about this book, and making a real big deal about how we're only say taking requests, but there's an embargo on the book, so reviews can't appear before certain date and blah blah blah. And I'm like, that's cool. If you need me to sign NDAs or whatever, I'll do that. But then at the end of the day, it's like I get the book the week before it comes out, so I think it's probably to do with slow mail and all the rest of it, right? But here it is, a Rhythm of War. Anyway, yes, I am planning on doing new reviews of all of the previous books in the Stormlight series, as well as this one. The complete Stormlight, it will be its own playlist, its own series of videos. I had a video on the channel already from years back of Words of Radiance when that one first came out. I've taken that down because it's older, and I think it was one of the very first review videos I ever did. Wasn't very good, so I've gone ahead and taken that down. I'll be doing an all-new review of it, plus books, all books 1 through 3, and then this one, and then posting those reviews like in immediate sequence, bam, 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 right? And I'll try to have that up by the holiday season. I mean, the next holiday season, right? Christmas, end of the year, just to go ahead and get the reviews on the channel and in the archive, right? So look for that. But I've just finished my reread of The Way of Kings. It actually goes pretty swiftly for being such a big book. That's one thing that I've noticed about the Stormlight books. It's you look at them, you're like, oh Jesus, God, that's huge. But then it's like, okay, well, it's the pacing on them. They're pretty pacey for being books of this size, for the most part. But what can I say about this one that won't be too spoilery? Rhythm of War returns the reader to the inventive and immersive world Sanderson has elegantly crafted in the Stormlight archive. Welcome to the remarkable land of Roshar, a world both alien and magical, where gigantic hurricane-like storms scour the surface every few days, and life has adapted accordingly. Roshar is shared by humans and the enigmatic humanoid Parshendi, with whom they are at war. And, yeah, again, I don't know that I should say much more than that. But, let's see, what else is in this sell sheet? Yeah, it's nothing but pull quotes and blurbs and stuff like that. But, okay, Rhythm of War tomorrow from Tor Books. And, I'm getting a workout here. Okay, another big box. This one from the Hat Check group. Not quite as heavy, but yeah. This one might have some overlap with some of the titles that I have in my concurrent episode of E-Arcs. I have 8 or 9 Orbit titles in the other video, E-Arcs. And so these might be physical versions of some of those books. Let's just have a look and see. Oh, okay, it's not any of those at all. This is something else entirely. It's the new trade paperback edition of The Light of All That Falls by James Islington. And this is the third and final volume in paperback at last of his epic fantasy trilogy, the Lacanius trilogy. And the first couple of books were The Shadow of What Was Lost and An Echo of Things to Come. Both of those I have. So maybe it's time to read this trilogy. So many books, so little time. But what can I say about this? I mean, you can tell what sort of a fantasy it is. I understand that people who enjoy Sanderson and Jordan and stuff like that seem to enjoy these. It says, as fate unfolds, death follows. After a savage battle, the boundary is whole again, but it may be too late. And you have, nations at war and what have you, right? Publishers Weekly says, complex magic, terrifying threats out of legend, political intrigue, and a large cast of characters. Fans of doorstop epic fantasy will not be disappointed. Okay, then. Well, if that's you, then you're in luck. The Light of All That Falls is now available in trade paperback from Orbit Books by James Islington. Okay, here's another box. I went ahead and started opening it before I said, hey, I have another box. So I've been taping a long time tonight, you guys. But this is a little care package from Tor.com Publishing. Been a while since I've gotten some stuff from them. And, I kind of put some feelers out to bug them a little bit. And they very nicely sent me some things. So let's see what's in the box, shall we? Okie dokie. Well, tucked in there next to Gwyneth Paltrow's head were some really cool books. And this first one I've been super looking forward to. This is the arc for Nnedi Okorafor's new novella, Remote Control. I think this one comes out in January? Yeah, January from Tor.com. So, it goes like this. It says, the day Fatima forgot her name, death paid a visit. From this moment on, she would be known as Sankofa, a name that meant nothing to anyone but her, the only tie to her family and her past. Her touch is death, and with a glance a town can fall, and she walks, alone except for her fox companion, searching for the object that came from the sky and gave itself to her when the meteors fell, and when she was yet unchanged, searching for answers. But is there a greater purpose for Sankofa now that death is her constant companion? Okay, yeah. So that is Remote Control by Nydia Corafor, available in January from Tor.com. And next we have The Factory Witches of Lowell. This is a new novella by C.S. Mallorik, I guess is how you pronounce that. And this one seems kind of interesting. It says C.S. Malorik's The Factory Witches of Lowell is a riveting historical fantasy about witches going on strike in the historical mill town of Lowell, Massachusetts. Faced with abominable working conditions, unsympathetic owners, and hard-hearted managers, the mill girls of Lowell have had enough. They're going on strike, and they have a secret weapon on their side, a little witchcraft to ensure that no one leaves the picket line. For the young women of Lowell, Massachusetts, freedom means fair wages for fair work, decent room and board, and a chance to escape the cotton mills before lint stops up their lungs. When the Boston owners decided to raise the workers' rent, the girls go on strike. Their ringleader is Judith Whittier, a newcomer to Lowell, but not to class warfare. Judith has already seen one strike fold, and she doesn't intend to see it again. Fortunately, Hannah, her best friend in the boarding house and maybe first love, has a gift for the dying art of witchcraft. Okay, then. The Factory Witches of Lowell. And this will be available. What is it? Oh, okay. I guess it's... Oh, it says... No, it's out now, November. It's a November release from Tor.com. And next up, we have a new book by Adrian Tchaikovsky, author of Children of Ruin and The Doors of Eden and so many other books. And this is a new novella that is the Expert Systems Champion, which is the sequel to an earlier one Tor.com put out a couple years back called the Expert Systems Brother. Okay, and so this one says it's been 10 years since Henry was wrenched away from his family and friends, forced to wander a world he no longer understood. But with the help of the ancients, he has cobbled together a life of sorts for himself and fellow outcasts. Wandering from village to village, welcoming the folk that the townships abandon, fighting the monsters the villagers cannot or dare not, his ever-growing band of misfits has become the stuff of legend, a story told by parents to keep unruly children in line. But there is something new and dangerous in the world, and the beasts of the land are acting against their nature, destroying the towns they once left in peace. And for the first time in memory, the ancients have no wisdom to offer. And John Chu says it's a great coming-of-age story that careens through a world so vividly realized that you can feel each insect bite and taste every acid berry. That's the previous book he's complimenting. A January release from Tor.com Publishing. And next up, super happy to have this. It's Fugitive Telemetry, the next Murderbot book from Martha Wells. This one will be available in April. And this is interesting. This is going back to novella length. The original, the most recent one, Network Effect, was a full novel. It was something like 350 pages. This one's gone back to like 160. So like the original novella series was. And golly, do I want to say anything to spoil anything? No, I didn't kill the dead human. If I had, I wouldn't dump the body in the station mall. Okay. When Murderbot, that's Murderbot, just being Murderbot. When Murderbot discovers a dead body on Preservation Station, it knows it is going to have to assist station security to determine who the body was. How they were killed, that should be relatively straightforward at least. And why, because apparently that matters to a lot of people. Who knew? Yes, the unthinkable is about to happen. Murderbot must voluntarily speak to humans again. And that is always poor Murderbot's torture, right? But Fugitive Telemetry by Martha Wells, available in April from Tor.com Publishing. And really happy to see this. This is Dead Lies Dreaming, the new Charlie Stross book in his Laundry Files series. If you haven't been keeping up with these, they're a lot of fun. They've been going for a while now. They actually started out being published by Ace Books here in the States, and now they're with Tor.com. And what this is about, the Laundry Files, it's like, these are sort of, spy stuff meets cosmic horror. Because it's a division of British intelligence that protects the nation against, the old ones, right? Those guys, these cosmic horror creatures of the vast, indescribable beyond, right? And so now we have Dead Lies Dreaming, which Lovecraft fans will know is a reference. And I guess this is out either nowish or soonish. Oh, it says October, so I guess it's already out, been out, who knew? All right, moving along. I've only got about 3 packages to go. This one has come in with an Amazon smiley face on the envelope. The only publisher that I know of who does this for me is Silver Shamrock, so maybe we have a couple more of their horror opuses. And that is exactly what we have. This first one, 2 in the package, this one is called The Sound of Distant Engines. The author is Robert E. Dunn. And let's see what this has to say for itself. First Sergeant Colin Matheson, a hero and the poster boy for a new kind of warfare in America's endless Middle East conflicts, when he is photographed using a smart rifle to kill from miles away. A lifetime later, he is an old man taking VA meds to keep anxiety and the ghosts at bay. He spends his days quietly resisting the government he has come to symbolize using illegal technology to restore an 80-year-old car. All that is complicated by the arrival of his daughter and her 13-year-old son. The daughter has hidden motives. The boy has issues at his faith-based public school. When the Reverend Sibley shows up, it becomes clear all the problems are related to the unveiling of a statue to honor the moment Matheson became famous, and to his refusal to participate. Before his family can be used against him to coerce participation, Matheson uses the car he calls Layla to create a distraction. As the pressure mounts, Matheson's ghosts and the feelings of impending change they bring drive him to a lost love and a lost nation. Matheson finds himself becoming a new symbol in his run through the Midwest. Pursued by police and skirting state surveillance networks, he learns about himself and his guilt from the shades that become more active in his life. Do the meds help him, or are they another aspect of state control, creating spirits from his violent memories? His only chance at freedom is to create a new image to represent the truth of his life. Matheson makes a last run to confront his past and make a new future he will never see. What a strange-sounding story. I'm still not entirely sure what to make of whatever the political thrust of this might be. Clearly it has one. It's got an axe to grind. But, again, that synopsis just kind of leaves a lot open. Definitely intriguing, though, I have to say. But The Sound of Distant Engines by Robert E. Dunn from Silver Shamrock Publishing. This next one is a slightly different thing. This is folk horror, a little subgenre that I'm particularly fond of. Includes movies like Midsummer and The Witch. Those would be folk horror. This is called The Five Turns of the Wheel. The author is Stephanie Ellis. And it says, stalking the landscape of rural England are the sons of Lowell, Lord of Umbra. Creatures with a taste for blood and death. They lead the dance, 5 nights of ritual, the 5 turns of the wheel. Proclaiming these events as a celebration of Mother Nature, the grotesque mummers troupe of Tommy, Betty, and Fiddler visit 5 villages on successive nights to lead the rites as they have done for centuries. In this blend of folk horror and dark fantasy, 2 women decide it is time to put a stop to the horrors committed in the name of the Mother. Liza and Megan, mother and daughter, fight back to protect the unborn and to weaken the power of Whale. H-W-E-O-L, by the way. That's not whale, like through the ocean. But will it be enough to destroy it forever? All right then. Yeah, The 5 Turns of the Wheel by Stephanie Ellis. 2 packages left to go. This one is from Simon & Schuster. And this is the finished copy in hardcover of These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. Comes out tomorrow. From Simon & Schuster, it's a very buzzy YA debut with 2 feuding families controlling 1926 Shanghai, but a plague upon both their houses threatens them all. So you see, it's a reimagining of the Romeo and Juliet theme, I suppose. Yes, set in 1920 Shanghai, with rival gangs running the streets red and a mysterious monster spreading a deadly madness. Generation Z debut author Chloe Gong's atmospheric historical... she's like 23. Historical fantasy embeds conflicts of gender, sexuality, and imperialism into Shakespeare's most famous love story, with dynamic characters that resonate as real yet flawed. Gong vividly renders the rich setting of Shanghai with multicultural vibrancy while deftly exploring the corresponding tensions that characterized the city. 18-year-old former flapper Juliet Kai has just returned to her home city, proud to assume her role as the heir of the Scarlet Gang. The powerful gang's only rivals are the Russian White Flowers, and behind their every move is their heir, Aroma Montagov, Juliet's first love and first betrayal. The blood feud between the two gangs has ruled Shanghai for generations, but people start to whisper of a contagion, of madness which culminates in ripping one's own throat out, a monster in the depths of the Huangpu River which threatens the city both gangs call home. With the violent illness claiming lives on both sides and the only leads to a cure coming from Western newcomers who have their own agendas, Juliet and Roma must set their guns and grudges aside to uncover the truth about this plague, for if they cannot stop this mayhem, there will be no city left to rule. Coolness, all right. Yeah, so I love the setting. I love the whole concept. Out tomorrow from Simon & Schuster, These Violent Delights. Very last package of the day, and it is Simon & Schuster again. Ooh, this is kind of cool. This is for a short story collection called Honeycomb by Joanne M. Harris. Comes out on March the 30th from Saga Press. And it says, fans of Piranesi by Susanna Clark and The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex Harrow will fall in love with the dark, enchanting fairy tales of Honeycomb. These original short stories by Joanne M. Harris, author of Chocolat, turned into the Oscar-winning film of the same name, back starring Johnny Depp, before he was toxic, and Juliette Binoche, I believe. Yes. I remember that movie. Anyway, these stories interconnect throughout the collection and are complete with illustrations by the award-winning Charles Vess. Oh my. Best known for illustrating works by Neil Gaiman, Ursula Le Guin, and comics for Marvel and DC. Full of dreams and nightmares, Honeycomb is an entrancing mosaic of original fairy tales. The toy maker longing for a wife, the princess who remains unimpressed by her suitors, and the sinister Lacewing King are just a few of the dark, folkloric, and wonderful creatures in Joanne Harris's first collection of fairy tales. For those who love the darker side of folklore, Honeycomb is an imaginative collection that will snatch you up into its thrall from the first page, and it will be out on March the 30th from Saga Press. And there you have it, everybody. One of today's two mailbags, this one devoted, of course, to all of the physical copies that have come in. You guys know the drill. Light up those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you. I have some ideas about that, and which you would like to see me prioritize for a review. Otherwise, of course, if you enjoyed watching, hit the like button, share the video far and wide with all of your SFF reading friends, and above all, please sub. If you have not done so, that is how the channel grows. Trying to get to 9,000, so, let's do this thing. You can also support the channel at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where recruits into Wink's Army get little perks, like getting to see some of my videos early access. I want to thank all those lovely people for their extra support. Greatly appreciated. I use the Patreon money to pay Matt Olson, my extremely talented and gifted thumbnail artist. So it's much appreciated. I want to thank all the rest of you for being the very best viewers in all of BookTube, and until I see all of you next time, please stay safe and healthy for the upcoming holiday weekend. Please don't do anything rash to put yourself in any danger, you or your health. And above all, happy reading.